So we're going to continue our awesome CodeIgniter project. So far what we've done is we've made 3 pages, a home page, an about page, and a contact us page in CodeIgniter, and our controllers here, our main controller. We have 3 functions for 3 different pages, and we have some views that we are using we're loading views for these pages, which generates a good looking page. So we have our about page, home page done. Let's do our contact page, and for this we're going to use some of CodeIgniter's help here, and how CodeIgniter makes it easy when it comes to making a form and sending an email. So let's go to what CodeIgniter has in their manual for the email class. So go to CodeIgniter and let's look at the table of contents here. Let's find the email class. Okay, so the email class is very, very simple, and they give you examples. They have awesome documentation, and here's an example of how to send an email. So I'm just going to copy this, and basically let's make a new function, and we'll just call it a public function. We'll call it send mail, and we'll just paste what you just copied in. So we have this new function called send email. Let's change these strings here. So we'll say from bob@bob.com. We'll say your name is, but whoever the user that filled it out, we'll just leave it your name. And 2, you're going to put whatever your email is. And we don't need the CC, we don't need the BCC, that's extra. So, and then we have the subject here, that's fine, we'll do the email test, and we're sending a message, and it says testing the email class. And then we're going to send the email. So it's pretty basic, very easy to read. So for this function, we're going to load the email class. We're going to load this library. Here's where the email's coming from. Here's their name. Here's who we're sending it to, the subject, the message, and now we're going to send it. And if there's any problems, we can echo this out, this print debugger, and it tells you if it was successfully sent, or if there's an error, it tells you what the error was. So this is very useful for testing. So we'll save that, and let's go to our contact view. So in here we have a basic form. We have a name, email, and a message. Cool, very simple. So in this form we have a action of what we want to do when they hit submit, and our method is post. We want to do post because and then this is probably kind of optional, but this is UTF-8. It's just a common char set, so it's normal lettering. So notice how it says name, email, message for the name. So these are going to be our post variables. So our post variables are going to be name, email, and message. And we also need an action, so let's tell it where to go. So I'm going to use my base URL here, and we're going to send it to send email. And that will send it to, instead of contact, it'll send it to send email, or send mail. And it will go to this page, which we just created. We just created a new page called send mail. So now that that's working, actually this is called send mail. Save that, send mail. Let's see what happens when we try to send an email. None of this matters yet because we don't have this built in, or it's not using whatever we put in here yet. It's using these strings. It's using Bob for email, and it's using your name for name. and message is this. So we're using static data right now, but if we press submit, we didn't refresh this page. Let me refresh the page and then try it again. Submit. It says your message has been successfully sent, and it says from your name, reply to, here's the message that we sent. So it was successfully sent, so that's awesome. So instead of sending basic strings, we can do, since all of our data is in this post array, we can do, I'll show you. Let's go back to CodeIgniter and go to the table of contents, and we're going to use the input class here. So click on the input class and let's learn about that. This class is already loaded, so you don't have to manually do it. So using post, cookie, and server data, we're just going to be using post here. So CodeIgniter already has some extra functionality based off of PHP's way. So in PHP's way of calling the post values, we use post. But in CodeIgniter's way, we call it this way. So we're going to do it CodeIgniter's way because they made it better for us. So yeah, let's just copy this. And this from is going to be email. And this is going to be name. And 2 is going to be your email address still. That's going to be static probably. And this is going to be message. And we get name, email, message from contact. Because these inputs here have a name of name, email, message. So that's what these post values are called. So input post, the value is message. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. It's pretty simple. So we're also going to add some more logic here. We're going to say if this is true, get rid of this extra semicolon. So if this is true, make it easier to read for you. We're going to say worked. If it failed, else, we're going to run this debugger and see what was the problem. So let's go back over here, send another email, or we can probably just refresh the page. And it'll ask you if you want to resubmit the form, and we'll say okay. And we get a server error. Let's see what that server error says. We have a syntax error on line 32. Because I copied this extra semicolon. Hopefully you guys noticed that. Okay, so let's save that, refresh the page, and it said worked. Awesome, so we got this worked. But instead of echoing, hey, thanks for your email, this worked, let's redirect the user back to your website. So since in their last tutorial we auto-loaded a helper, so in our application config auto-load, we auto-loaded this URL helper here. So now that this is on, we have it for every class. So we have access to this function, redirect. And we're going to redirect them back to the contact page, maybe, or the home page. I think this brings back to the home page. So if I refresh the page again, sent to the home page. Cool, so the email was sent. It'd be nice to tell the user that the email was sent, or a confirmation message. So we can do that using, we can redirect them going to a new page. So we could make a new function, call it, I'm just going to copy this, and it'll be like thank you page, and saying, hey, thanks for the email. But that's a harder way. It takes too much time. So we're going to do it the easy way. And CodeIgniter has another thing that we can use. It's be the session class. So we're going to use the session class, and we're interested in the, notice it has important notes up here. If you're using the session class, you must use an encryption key located in your config file. So we'll do that shortly. So first, I already know I want to use this class, so we're going to load this class. So we're going to load it here, and then now we have access to this library's functions. So let's find the function that we were going to use. I already know what it was. We're going to use flash data. This is very awesome. So if we want to set flash data, I'll show you what this is. It's used very commonly with the redirect, so I'm just going to paste what I just copied in there. So this is session flash data. This is data that's only kept for the next page. So whatever variables I make in here, like this data is only available for this next page, and that's only. After that next page, this gets deleted. So we're going to give this a name and a value. So we're going to call it success, because it's going to be like, hey, thanks for the email, it was successful. So we're going to call it success. And we're going to say, thanks for the email, query. So we'll save that. And now we have access to this flash data, but it's only on the home page. Let's go back to let's make it redirect to our contact page. So now that we have the flash data set, now that we set the flash data, we can retrieve it like this. So I'm just going to copy this. And on our contact page, we're going to display thanks for the email query. So we're going to give the contact controller data. So we're gonna add to this data array. We're going to call it we'll call it flash, because it's called flash data. So this session flash data, what variable do we want to get? Well, down here we called it success. So we want to grab success. So now we have this information. Basically, right now, flash data is equal to this. Now that we have this flash data, we can load it in our contact page, because right now only our header has access to this data, these two. So in our contact page, we're also going to load data. It might be more organized if, maybe we don't want the contact page to have access to this title. Maybe we should do it like this. We should have header data, contact data, and then here you would just say header data, contact data. That way you don't pass too much data to one page. That way it makes your pages load faster, because it doesn't load more data. Does that make sense? So only the header gets the header data. Only the contact page gets the contact data. But I'm just going to keep this simple for you guys. So they're both going to get data. Heck, footer can even get data too. Who cares if it makes sense? Whatever is easier for you guys. So now that this contact page has access to flash, so on our contact page, we're just going to echo out flash. And we're probably going to put a paragraph tag around it. And I have a style on this paragraph already. I think it's a class of error. Save. And save that. Save. Make sure you save this page. So what we just did, we set flash data. Thanks for the email. And then here in our contact, we are getting that success data because that's where we're redirecting to. We're redirecting back to this contact page, grabbing the success data, and then displaying it in review. I'm getting an error right now. That's fine. You'll experience lots of these, but let's work together here and figure out what's going on. So on line number 23 of our main controller, we have an error of session. So our contact function here doesn't know what session is. Well, we should probably load it. That's all we need to do. So we're loading this library for this function. Because we already loaded it for this function, we need to load it for this function too. Keep note that we can also auto-load it in our config autoload PHP. We can auto-load this library. See, it has an example here of session. But we're not going to do that here because we don't want it for every page. We only want it for these two pages. So let's save that, refresh, and our page is working again. Okay, so let's type in your name, email, test email. So say submit, and it says thanks for the email query. And notice this isn't styled the way I wanted it to. It should be green. And if we come back over here to our contact page, I named the class error, which doesn't make sense at all because we called it success. So in my CSS I have a class called success. So if I refresh the page, it goes away because that flash data is only here for the next page refresh. So now that flash data just deleted, it doesn't know, it's gone, it's history. So let's do it again. This time will be Jill. It'll be Jill at jill.com. We'll send another message. Submit, and it says thanks for the email query. Okay, so if you check your email, I didn't want to type mine in here because maybe you guys will spam me for some reason. I don't really want to put my email in here. I'll try it real quick and see if I got the email. So, be right back. Okay, I just typed my email into here and it worked. I'm just going to type back in your email. Hopefully it worked for you also. If it didn't, it might be because it's just not accepting emails from your local host for some reason. I just tried my Hotmail account, and on my Hotmail email I never got the email, but on my Gmail I did. But I'm sure when you push your site live and off of localhost, when you actually push your site live on your .com, I'm sure it will work then. But hopefully this tutorial is very beneficial for you guys, and I hope you learned a lot. We learned about sessions, setting flash data. So instead of making a whole new page, we just sent this text here, which is very useful. And we learned about the email class. There's actually one more thing I can show you guys. Going back to the CodeIgniter table of contents, let's go to the form helper. So over here we have a form helper, and we can load this form. That's what we want to do first. So on our contact page, let's load the form helper. Now we have access to this helper's functions. So let's go here, and they have form open. They have some examples here. So let's copy this example and go to our contact page. And instead of saying this, we can say PHP echo, or I'll paste in what I copied from their website. So we're going to use send mail. So form open uses the base URL by default. So I'm going to say send mail, and it should do the same thing for me. So why would we want to use the form open instead of the one that we made? Well, this one's more secure and protects you against people on the web are trying to send you spam messages and whatnot, cross-site scripting or whatever that's called. So it's more secure, and they have lots of cool functions. There's a couple in here. Let me see. Form password, form upload. Shows you how to make a drop down with their API. Checkbox, submit, label. Form close, we need that one. Echo form close. And the set value is pretty useful. If you press the back button, it will remember your input fields so it doesn't forget, so they don't have to fill them all out again if they have to press the back button. So there's some useful things in here. So down here we have a form open up here. There's a form close also, and don't need that string. And basically all this returns is form. That's really it. But since we are using form open, we might as well use form close too. So what the heck? So I'm going to remove this. Use form open instead. You can use all of these form inputs. I find it to be kind of time consuming. I don't really feel like doing this. You can give the input a name, an ID, value, max length. I feel like it kind of takes more time. I don't really feel like doing it. I just do the form open and form close. But you certainly can if you wanted to add another field. This would make another field. So alright, I hope you guys learned a lot. Thanks. Alright guys, I guess I lied. I'm gonna keep teaching you guys because that's what I like to do and that's why I'm here. I was gonna end it, but then I remembered I wanted to show you guys about spam and how to prevent it. And my favorite way is not the CAPTCHA way. Now you fill out these CAPTCHAs over here. It's like, what does it type? Or what does this CAPTCHA say? And it's like a whole bunch of letters that you can't even read it. It's really inconvenient. And for such a simple site that you're probably going to build, there's a different, easier way that we can do. And it's called the honeypot method. So if you Google that, honeypot CAPTCHA, there's lots of blogs on it, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. On our contact page here, we're going to add a new field. So right now, I'll make this easier for read here. Okay, so we have the name field, the email field, and a message field. Well, we're just going to copy and make a new field, and we're just going to say phone. This can be any kind of generic field that doesn't already exist. We obviously don't want the person's phone number, so I'm going to use that. You could use location, street address, zip code probably is a good one. Yeah. So we're going to make a form that we don't want the users to fill out. But we know the spam bots will fill it out. So if it is filled out, then don't send the email because it is a spam bot. So we're going to make this field and then we're going to hide it. So we're going to give it a div style and we're going to say display none. So this div does not display. Okay, so we have this new field. We are not displaying it to the user. If I refresh this page, it's not there. But the spam bots will see it. Spam bots will fill out this field and try to send you an email. So now all we have to do is check to see if this is filled out. If this field is filled out, then don't send the email because it's a spam bot. So over here, we can say if let's get our post. So we're going to say, that's how I never type anything in CodeIgniter, just copy paste it. We're going to get the phone field because we named it phone, so we call it here by saying phone. So if this phone does not equal nothing, then we're going to say echo go away spam bot, else we're going to continue running the normal way because it is not a spam bot. Okay. So if the spam bot filled out this field, then it says go away. If it's not filled out, then continue running our code. So this would still work if you inspect or you look at the source code here. There is a field here. The users won't see it, but the spam bots will. Pretty simple method. And notice another thing, that we have this paragraph here for success. Just an empty paragraph. That's not really good practice. So we should probably have a check to see if there is any flash data. See, we're echoing flash data, but not every time there is flash data. So we can say, we need to do another check. We can say if flash PHP end if. So if there is flash data, or flash data, pretty much this is, if it equals, if it does not equal, this is probably the same thing, this will probably work too. If flash does not equal nothing, then let's spit it out. So if flash equals true, if there's something in flash, show it, and that's the, and then we end if. And don't forget this colon, and this is a semicolon. So make sure your syntax is correct here. So if I refresh this page, look at the code, that paragraph is not here no more. So that's good practice. And I'm gonna shut up now and end this tutorial. See you guys.